so please allow everyone to speak and hold any questions you have until the end. Additionally, please silence your cell phones. And with that, we're going to begin with Sheriff Kennison.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. I know there's a lot of tension, people wanting to get back home, things like that. And several questions that were asked today and we're addressing. I just want to kind of give you an update where we are at the Sheriff's Office. We've been trying our best to keep property safe. People, the people that are in there, making contact with them. We've made some contacts with people out in Tinnick that we felt needed to have some contact at the point. I don't want to take too much time, but I am going to steal a little bit of thunder for Drake here. We're looking at getting you guys home tomorrow in the afternoon. With that said, we'll take questions at the end, okay? With that being said, we ask at the Sheriff's Office that when you go home, if you have problems, you're missing things like that, we feel like we've done pretty well keeping a good eye on your properties, things like that, but there always is that chance. Please get with us. If you have concerns with the thing, the way we have handled things or done anything, please let me know, let the sheriff's deputies know, and we'll address those things as quickly as possible as they come up. With that, I'll pass it to Emergency Manager Drake Underwood.
Hey everybody, I hope you're doing as well as you can be with the conditions that you're in. Like Sheriff Kennison said, and meeting with all the fire folks, we're going to allow you guys to go back to your residences tomorrow starting at noon. You will be in set status. So there's some papers out here and everything else. In a nutshell, set status means you need to be still ready in a moment's notice to be evacuated. So, don't get everything quite ready just yet. We want you to get back home. We want you to sleep in your own beds. We want you to make sure everything's good at home, check on things, but we want you to stay ready as well. So, make sure you got fuel in your cars, make sure your pets are taken care of, make sure all of those things so that if we have to come back in, we don't even want to say it, but if we do, and we have to evacuate you again, you're ready at a moment's notice, okay? The way that we're going to do it tomorrow, SR6 is going to remain closed for fire. I'll let them talk about that, but it's going to remain closed. So you guys are going to have to access Eureka from the west, meaning you'll have to go down to Nephi on 132 or north to Lehigh up around 15 Mile Pass and come in. We'll have a hard road closure at Tinnick High School, right at the county line, right at the top of the hill at Bees and Tinnick. And then there'll be the road closure on the bottom of the hill, same place as where it's at, on SR 68, or right there at Tunnel Road where you've seen the troopers if you've come around. So that'll remain in place. I think fire will talk about that more. There's a time frame there. But tomorrow at noon, we ask that you do so, in a cautious way. At noon on the other side where the troopers blocking the road, they'll lift the barricade. We'll allow you guys to go in and check on your homes and things like that. Like Sheriff Kennison said, if you have problems once you get to your house, let us know. We've tried everything in our power and our due diligence to keep your property, your items safe, and all things like that. We're also going to be putting out this information. Once we give it to you guys, we're going to share information on social media. If there's more details to come on how we want you to access Eureka or different things like that, or if you're not sure how to get back home the back way, we'll try to keep you updated. And if you watch these guys' social media site and ours, we'll keep you up to date as best we can. Okay. Next up will be Utah County Emergency Manager Peter Quittner.
Hi, everybody. There's a couple things I just want to touch on. I want to talk a little bit about resources. There's several parties involved: Judd County, Utah County, the State Division of Emergency Management. Everyone's been working in unison during this time. We're still mobilizing a lot of resources. Now, you guys are going home. This fire's not out. You know that. You can look outside and see that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's future decisions that have to be made when the time comes. You guys are going home tomorrow. That's great news. I just want to let you know there's still tremendous work being done in conjunction with all these agencies. The shelter site we have in Alberta, that is still open right now. We are currently bringing in, we've worked for a couple of days. We've been trying with all the fires around the nation. It's been really hard to get our hands on resources. We've been trying really hard. If you knew the battles we're fighting on your behalf, we really are trying. We do have a shower trailer that's being set up as we speak. So if you're evacuated and you're at the shelter, we have some members of Utah County Emergency Management that's down there as we speak, setting up these resources. There's extra porta potties, shower resources. We're doing what we can for you. I know you're looking, this is short term for you guys, but it's been a couple days, so maybe you guys wanted to take advantage of a nice shower. I just want to let you know that resource is being set up and it should be available for you this evening. There's also at the Alberta shelter there, they have water, they got food, restrooms, and the other resources I just talked about. I just want to say we appreciate your patience with all this whole process. For some of you, you've never been through something like this before, and it's challenging on you and it's stressful. Everyone's stressed about this, and just let you know we are here for you. If there's any questions we can answer after the fact, please don't hesitate to give us a call or walk up to us, grab us, and just ask us the questions. We'll do our best to, we're not robots. We'll answer everything we can for you guys. So I just appreciate it all. I appreciate all your effort and your patience and your understanding. That's all I have. Up next is going to be the Eureka Mayor, Mayor Robert Jenkins.
So I just want to thank all of you for your patience. I implore you to listen to the law enforcement. They're working very hard to get us all home, get it so we're there safely. Keep in mind, as they've said, the fire's still raging. They're keeping Highway 6 closed so that our fire traffic can effectively battle that. So as you come home, please do it in an orderly fashion, no shoving, but just follow the commands of our law enforcement here. They're all stretched pretty thin. There's fires raging all over the state. A lot of these fine men and women that are taking care of our community, they have done a damn good job. All the homes are still there. And so when you see them, don't just thank the firefighters, thank the police, the highway patrol, Utah County. They're all there for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me, reach out to City Hall. We're also there to listen. We're trying very hard to get you all home and make it safe for you. Up next is Enbridge Gas, Mike Nielsen.
All right, thank you. As the mayor said, I was there Saturday and that fire was raging, and these guys were amazing at keeping your property safe and keeping the fire away, so thank them. Because the fire was so close, we made the decision to purge down our gas system. So there's no gas in the lines right now. So the process to turn it back on won't be quite as quick as if we had left the gas in the lines. Monday, we went out, we checked each meter, we checked our risers, we locked off all of your gas meters. If we get permission, hopefully before noon, possibly, we will go out in the morning, put gas back into our system, have some purge points to get any air out, and then be ready for when you guys come back into town to come one at a time to each house, unlock your meter, do what we call a spot test just to make sure you don't have any gas leaks on your fuel lines or your meters. And then we'll come into each person's house to relight your water heater. We're just going to do water heaters and stoves that have pilot lights. No need for furnaces right now, so we're not going to focus on that so that we can be a little bit quicker getting you into your house. We're going to do basic safety checks. We're going to light the water heater. We're going to check the flame, make sure it looks good. Or we're going to match test the diverter, make sure that the carbon monoxide, the products of combustion, are going to outside, not into your home. We'll use our machines to make sure there's no leaks on your control valves. And then we're going to make sure the burner shuts off and put it back to the temperature you had it before. If we see any major problems with your combustion air, your venting, stuff like that, we'll let you know. Your safety is our main concern. So we'll try and make it safe if we can, but if we can't, we'll refer you to a contractor. But we have our trailer set up at the high school. So if you guys come into town and you need to ask us a question, me and Nick Jentz, my boss, will be there tomorrow. And I'm going to have 30 to 35 employees over there. So we're hoping we can do the relight process pretty quickly, maybe 6 hours. And me and Nick will be here after. If you guys have any questions, you can come up and ask us. All right. So I'm going to turn the time over to Brad Mihalik.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Brad, one of the operations chiefs with Great Basin Team 3. As you can see out there, the weather's starting to get a little bit interesting. We knew that was coming. So far, everything is held within our containment lines as of right before I walked into this meeting. Things can change quickly. We have this same kind of weather expected through the weekend. So a major wind event coming in. They're saying one of the biggest wind events so far this fire season coming in starting Friday. So we got our eye on those weather events, and we'll plan accordingly. I will walk you guys around the map, just give you a quick update on what we're doing out there and how things are looking. So starting down here in Eureka proper, in the town along the Highway 6 corridor here, everything still remains great. Everything is looking great in and around the town. They continue to monitor that area, mop up any hot spots they're finding. So they've been in there multiple days now, really checking around the homes and the town infrastructure. So we're feeling real confident in and around the town. Their crews are also continuing out west of the town, direct up to the north, up to the northwest, along the fire's edge here. And you can see we've added some containment in this area, west of town here. So that all these things went into the decision of allowing you guys back tomorrow. Continuing up the western flank of the fire, continuing north. Burn operations the last couple of days in here went well, continue to hold. They're just continuing to secure and improve this line in here. So everything's looking real good in here. Up on the northern end in Edwards Canyon, Bell Canyon area, if you guys are familiar with that, Broad Canyon, this whole northern piece here, it got really active last night. So we've been in here direct, meaning right on the fire's edge. Got real active last night, overnight. We had some wind surface around midnight, 1 o'clock last night. So that really started moving around in there. And due to being nighttime, we don't really like to engage real steep country like that. So we just kind of monitored that. And it remained in our containment lines. And we're reevaluating in here whether it's going to be more appropriate to stay direct or bring it out to our dozer line that we have in here, containment lines with firing operations. But we didn't get a window today to pull that off, but we're really monitoring this area. Down along the east side, down in the flats over here, Rattlesnake Peak area, this all looks really good. Crews have worked this edge really well. You can see we've added some containment in this area as well. So yeah, this chunk is looking great. The big concerning area over here on the east side, last evening, I'm sure you guys could see it out there. Last evening, it started to make another push again. So with that happening and our expected winds today and everything that was coming, we felt like our window was small and we had to get our firing done. So crews burned all this indirect line that we had in that I told you about last time. Crews started burning that at about 5 o'clock last night, worked all the way through the night and all the way through the day today till about 2 o'clock, to where they completed this indirect firing operation, tying it back into near Highway 6. So that all went real well. Like I said, as of right before I walked in here, all that is still looking good, staying within our containment lines, and we're happy with it so far. We're also looking at some contingency lines south of Highway 6 in the event that we do have a problem and this fire decides it wants to move south. We have some plans in place down below in the event that that happens. That's one of the reasons we're continuing to keep the east side of town Highway 6 corridor closed. So due to the fact that this threat is still here, it's not gone by any means. We feel comfortable with it, but anything can happen with these winds. So that's the reason we're keeping the Highway 6 corridor closed, as well as we have operations going on right on the side of the highway. Crews are filling, we got big pumpkins out there. Crews are filling engines, etc. There's just a bunch going on along the highway. And again, this is also the reason that we're, where they talked about going back to set, meaning we're not back, we're kind of in the middle of the evacuation ladder. It's just that this threat still remains, and we want you guys to be vigilant and ready in the event that this crosses Highway 6 and comes back and approaches Eureka again from the south. And lastly, just at night, I just want to let you know at night where we will also have resources out there continuing for the next several nights. So you may see resources at night driving around town, monitoring Fire's Edge, etc. So we're going to look out for you guys the best we can and just ask the same back from you. And we'll keep an eye on it and keep our fingers crossed. And if we get through the weekend, I think we'll be looking pretty good. If you guys have any questions, I'll be here after to answer anything. Thank you. Oh, I forgot. Whoop. Sorry. Next up is going to be Mike with fire behavior.
Hey, good evening, everybody. As Brad mentioned, my name is Mike Pagoga. I'm the fire behavior analyst for this fire. I'm also filling in for our incident meteorologist. He's still back at camp. He's monitoring this incoming storm system that's going on to make sure those firefighters stay safe. As Brad kind of hit on, next few days are definitely going to be some challenges, but I'll get to those after I talk about what happened today. So for fire weather, as you know, we had that moisture kind of come in today with this first kind of storm push. We started to get some outflow winds from those thunderstorms kind of in the west-southwest direction. A couple of our weather stations that we have out on the line recorded wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. Some of them are even over 50 miles an hour. So definitely an exciting time for many folks out there. Lots of activity that comes with that, kind of blowing things around. So going into tomorrow, that moisture kind of stays around for a good chunk of the day, kind of burns off a little bit throughout the rest of the day, and then thunderstorms come back again tomorrow evening. They said it's about a 1 to 3 chance that we'll see some showers again, but it's still very low chance of any kind of wetting significant rain that is going to decrease the fire behavior activity. Any storms that do develop will have some strong outflow winds. We're looking at that 40 miles an hour kind of gust here and there. So that's kind of what the tomorrow looks like. But the big event that we're watching for is over Friday and Saturday. So those are critical fire weather days. Those are red flag warning days. The sustained winds are going to be upwards, and you can see it there, or some of you can anyway, 20 to 25 miles an hour, pretty solid all throughout the day. And then again, we're going to get some of those gusts from 40 to 45 miles an hour. Later in the evening, we get those winds, they shift. So as the cold front passes through, the winds shift and start coming out of the west or the northwest. So that's definitely going to impact some of the issues that we have going on that Brad talked about. And I'll hit on what that means for fire behavior here in a second. So that stays around from Friday into Saturday. So 2 big weather days that definitely going to challenge us a little bit. But as we get closer to the weekend, things definitely improve. You know, temperatures drop, humidities come up a little bit. So definitely some better conditions there. And then as we get early into next week, you can see the green up there, the temperatures, they stay pretty low, you know, below 80 degrees. So we have some pretty favorable conditions or temperatures, but the dryness, it's still very, very dry. So even though it's going to be cooler, it's still going to be very, very dry conditions out there into early parts of next week. So with that, I'll start shifting into what that means for fire behavior. So for me as a fire behavior analyst, I care about 3 big things. I care about the weather, which I just hit on, the fuels, and the topography. So the topography out there, you guys, you know, it's a kind of have those mountain peaks, and then you've got the nice flat valley bottoms. And throughout that, the fuels change. So fuel is essentially anything that can burn from large juniper trees, which most of it's out there, to those sagebrush flats. Can we go to the map? So as the fire continues to burn down the mountain, gets into those flat areas, you know, fire intensity drops significantly. So it helps with our firefighters be more successful in their actions. It's a lot easier to implement some different things. It's also way more predictable because we're not talking about spotting at that point, and spots when a fire kind of flares up and throws embers out ahead of itself. Those lower statured shrubs and those kinds of things don't really do that for us. But the kind of problem areas that we have that remain, especially on the eastern side, it's all up in those juniper areas, and that's why they did that burn the other day, is to kind of bring it more down to the flat so it's manageable, closer to the road, easy to get to. Fire behavior is much less spotting potential, those kinds of things, just way easier to manage at that point. So with those winds and with the weather conditions that we're going to be getting over the next few days, our main concerns are going to be wind-driven fire behavior, so any kind of effect that's going to have. Those juniper trees are still very active. You know, the fuels here, the dryness, we're about 3 weeks ahead of normal dryness. You guys know we started off really bad with a low snowpack year this year. Haven't had a whole lot of rain, and so that's why these fuels are acting and behaving the way they are. It's just very, very dry. So those are going to continue to burn. Those southwest winds shifting then to the northwest are definitely going to be a challenge, and definitely challenge all of our containment lines over the next few days. So like Brad mentioned, if we can get really into the weekend and see that weather change, that's definitely going to help and definitely decrease the fire behavior. So again, couple more challenging days ahead of us, but I've got high confidence in our firefighters. So with that, I will turn it over to Cindy Ledbetter.
Yeah, good evening. Cindy Ledbetter with the Bureau of Land Management. And I think you all have heard mostly what you want to hear about being able to go back home. So I'll keep it short and kind of broaden it. You know, in Utah, we are definitely in severe conditions, as you guys have heard, not just here, but throughout the whole state. So stay up on fire restrictions, be aware of them. We've got them throughout the whole state, and go to utahfireinfo.gov, and that'll show you what the restrictions are in each area, and whether you're traveling somewhere throughout the state or it's your home part of the state. Just stay up on that and be safe out there and be smart. And with that, we'll go to Justin Roach with State of Utah.
Good evening, everybody. Justin Roach with the State of Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. My title on this incident is an agency administrator for the state. My day job is I administrate the functions of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands in Morgan, Davis, Salt Lake, Tooele, and Utah counties. What I wanted to come up and talk to y'all about today a little bit is the size of the response that it takes to fight these kind of wildfires. So I want to start off by saying that there's that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. That same mindset applies to wildland fire response. It truly takes a village to put a large fire like this out, a large, complex, very dynamic situation. And that village is including all of you, everyone on the incident command team, and all the firefighters that are out in the ground fighting the fire. To talk about the size of this just a little bit, so these teams that come in, so Great Basin Team 3 is the incident command team that's running the iron fire. It's compromised, or gosh, I'm having a blonde moment, sorry. It's made up of federal, state, and local municipal resources. And they're coming from all over the country. You don't just have Utah folks. You don't just have, Nevada folks. You got people coming from all over the West, all over the East, and all over the Midwest, coming to Utah to help fight our fires and help make sure that you guys get home safely and that your property doesn't get damaged. So I just really wanted to highlight that because it really is a ton of coordination. And it's a lot of moving parts, and it's a lot of people coming to you guys to help you guys out and ensure that nothing wrong or nothing bad happens. Yeah, and so with that, the last couple remarks I just want to say is I do want to thank the Great Basin Incident Command Team 3 for coming in, taking over this fire, bringing some control to the chaos, and in a pretty quick time frame, getting you guys back into your homes. I think that's a pretty major accomplishment for the team and for the firefighters that are out on the ground. So we're really grateful for that. And lastly, I want to thank each and every single one of you in this room. Part of that response is all of you guys sitting out here as well. So your guys' cooperation, your patience, your understanding, and most importantly, your support to the team and the firefighters out there is a major part of what makes this, is what's going to make this incident successful and bring it to an end, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'll be around for any questions if anyone has any. I appreciate your guys' time. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Todd Murray, your incident commander for Great Basin Team 3.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to come and speak to you all again. Really appreciate your patience. I know it's not been easy, having been through different situations like this with this team and throughout, my career as well as a career firefighter. I know the discomfort and the emotional roller coaster that you go through when you've got to leave your possessions and your homes and your animals and all of those belongings behind in a quick fashion. So I want to say thanks as well to the folks we've been able to work alongside and coordinate with in terms of Utah County, Juab County, the commissioners, and all of the other cooperators as well. It's not easy. It takes some time, and so your patience has been duly noted, and I know it's running thin as well. So really appreciate that. Some of the success around the town of Eureka, many of your residents, is because of the work in which you did prior to this fire hitting. And so those mitigation measures that you do, hardening your sites, your homes, eliminating combustible fuels, whatever that is, grass, brush, wood, helps significantly. And then what that does is it gives those firefighters that opportunity to have some defensive space to work around and operate safely. Because if they can't do that safely, your life of your child, my child who fights fire, by the way, but the life of these firefighters who, again, come from everywhere to help and do this job is not worth your home, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. I know you may think otherwise, but again, a home is replaceable. Those belongings, those memories, I know are tough to lose for sure, but the life of an individual, one unique individual, is not worth a structure, in my opinion. So just wanted to express that. So really appreciate, again, your patience and their work. Brad mentioned, again, all the good things we're doing. Mentioned there's still the possibility of a threat, right? We just talked about what we did to help minimize that threat of this southeast east side of this fire as it continues to want to run and push off the slope. And so our burnout operation was successful. It stayed in place, meaning it stayed along those containment lines that we utilized to conduct that burnout operation. However, with it being tested a little bit today with the wind, the outflow winds from these storm systems moving through, the forecast that we have, especially for Friday and Saturday, is not totally eliminated. There still is the potential that this thing wants to get up and move. The conditions are very conducive that it wouldn't take much. A group of trees that torch out and become like the Roman candle and throw embers and spot over the road. We call that spotting a probability of ignition that is calculated based on the day's weather and how far that spot can go. And so that probability ignition is very high for this particular area in the middle of the day. And so it does exist, and we just got to be mindful of that. So yes, we're mitigating, we're eliminating that risk slowly. We get better at, I would say we get better at it. We improve or eliminate that risk a little more every day. And so we're needing a couple of more days to do that for the Highway 6 corridor where we're working, but we do feel that that risk is mitigated to an acceptable level to get you all back into your homes. And I know we're asking you to travel a long ways around the south or to the north on the west side of Highway 6 and in those travel corridors. And that's needed again, because again, we're running and working our crews, our hand crews, our engines right off of Highway 6 there on the east side. Yeah, the time frame that the sheriff deputy mentioned, 12 o'clock. I know you'd probably want to be in there now. I get that. We still have nighttime operations going. We'll continue that. We'll have our daytime operations as well. And so when we're switching those folks in and out, roughly between the time of 7 to 9 o'clock, there's a lot of traffic. And so that's why we're asking you just to give us a little bit of time to get our folks off the mountain, do the shift change, get the new folks in there, have that little time to download so good information is passed from our night resources to our day resources so there's no hiccups. And that way, again, they stay safe, keep you safe as well. And so that's why we're asking for that patience there. Other than that, again, just want to say thank you very much. We're here. We still have a number of days of work to do. And so this fire is definitely not out. That risk still exists, and we appreciate it. They've talked about, again, that evacuation status from go to set, and still it exists there. And I think within a few days, once we feel that Highway 6 corridor is really mitigated and taken care of, that status will change eventually. It's time as we counsel again and discuss that with the Sheriff's Department of what that looks like, our recommendations to them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your time and your politeness in being here. Before we open it up for questions, before we open up for questions, I would like everyone to know that we plan to be around to answer any questions you may have. That includes being available after the question period at the end of the meeting for all of you to ask your questions. Additionally, it's a pretty big room, so please be around, or please wait for a microphone before you ask your question. With that, let's turn the time over to you to begin.
I was told I have to hold it. Okay. I have two questions. The first question is, we're all coming in from the west side. What is the backup plan for evacuation should an emergency arise? I think it's important all the residents know if we would be heading out west or making a line again down the front. So I think that ought to be discussed, and the residents should be notified of that. The second question I have is, since we're all coming in the west, will there be some kind of accommodation for individuals who work in Utah County to show an ID and be able to travel to work that way? Or are they being expected to drive all the way around the Tooele Way or Nephi Way in the morning to go to work? Would they be able to show their ID, and get an escort like they've been doing?
You do the first half.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, great questions. Thank you. So yeah, if we have to reevacuate, heavens hopes that we don't have to. I don't think we'll have to. I'm pretty pretty confident in that. Again, the work of the firefighters is that we would utilize any avenue possible, going east, going west, going north, going south, right? Because when evacuation needs to happen, we need to get you out of there as quick and as soon as possible. So, yeah, we'd communicate, of course, with the law enforcement, the sheriff's departments, because again, they are the ones that execute that and notify the various road guards that are maintaining those closures for us and let folks travel through, not a problem.
I'll take your second question. Understanding the type of operations that are still taking place on SR6, just the manpower that's got to go, the incident commander and all the other people talked about those operations, what has to happen on that road, all the people moving, all the moving pieces and parts. We don't want you going through that area. That's why there's a hard closure. I know it's inconvenient, and I'll apologize as much as I can, but we're not going to have you go through SR6 if you work in Utah County there. I'm sorry. There are one thing that wasn't mentioned earlier with repopulating, and I don't have a laser pointer, but I can point it up here. We do understand there are some businesses in some mining operations down here. Those are also, they will be able to go back at noon and they can work in their facilities there in their mines. We talked about that. That's okay, but I have to apologize as much as I can, but we're just not going to make individual concessions going down 6 and back. If you do work in these areas, it's my understanding, and maybe Juab would be a better source of information how to get there. It's my understanding that there are back roads into these mines. And we ask you, if you do work in these mines south of 6 here, don't expect to go through the closure, but you might have to work with Juab County if you don't know the back way into your facility you work at. But
Hi, I just want to say thank you all for everything you've done for us. But with going back in a set status, for people who brought campers and trailers down or may want to bring them back down before, if we ever have to evacuate again, is there a place we can stage those before that would happen? Or what can we do with that? We're just taking them back up and dragging them back down?
Sorry, where are your trailers now? Are you just asking if you can bring your camp trailers back where you're in a set status?
No, I'm just saying, is there a place we can stage them so we're not taking them back up and back down, or
Oh,
just someplace we can stage them so they're down here already in case
Gotcha.
we have to go again?
that would be in Utah County, so I'm not sure.
we do have a site. Goshen has provided a site that we have made available this entire time if you had oversized vehicles. I would just ask you to use your discretion. I think you're asking, do I bring my trailer back to Eureka and in case I have to evacuate, I have to take it again? Remember, the hope is you don't have to leave again. We're doing our best to make sure that doesn't happen. You're just gonna have to use your judgment on how much effort you want to put into your evacuation if that were to happen. That's a personal decision. But just know in Goshen, there has been an area available that you could park oversized vehicles. If you don't know where that is, get with us after. I think it's over near the fire station. I don't know the address. I think it's 460 North South, 460 South Center. That's the area. Thank you. But I know we've had that available. There's only been a couple vehicles there, but just use your best judgment. It's up to you.
And it's a little bit out of the way, but if there is somebody with campers and, you can get a hold of us at the Little Sahara Recreation Area, and maybe we can set something up there for you in those campgrounds, temporarily, but yeah, you could get a hold of us there.
Thank you.
My my question is more about commerce in Eureka. As everyone knows, the businesses in Eureka, we rely on deliveries in order to function. So this is really gonna throw, a wrench in the cog here how can we get around it as far as can we send employees down to maybe the roadblock, pick these deliveries up and bring them back? Or do you have something or another idea for that?
So for that, just like they've already spoke, it's going to be a hard closure on the north end there. If you're to travel, you would need to go to the south. We can't make any accommodations to get you through a closed area. So we know it's a hardship, but we're trying to get you back home. We're trying to get operations back going. We're hoping it's temporary and it ends quick. But yeah, you'll still just need to go around that south end to get things in and out.
Our employees haven't been to work. I mean, it's not like we can camp out in someone else's driveway and go to work. We've been shut down. We have no income. Our businesses are shut down. Surely we can figure out a way to get supplies into Eureka if you're going to let the businesses open.
Yeah, and that route to get supplies in would just be through the south. It does take a little while to get around, but that route is the south side of Eureka to get it in. So.
Thank you.
Oh, you hold it. George Andrew, Pinyon Canyon Properties. So my hearts go out to Eureka, town of Eureka. We love it. Eagle Point, Cottonwood fires, all the efforts going in to save the state at this time. Devastating. A lot of successes, a lot of prayers have been successful. I'm representing the community of Pinyon Canyon Properties. The back burn, I understand that was a hard decision. However, there's some collateral damage up there. Me and 20 of my neighbors up there watched our cabins, our trailers, our properties burned to ashes on a collateral damage move. So it was a successful burn. I'm grateful for the town of Eureka. My great-granddad was a miner out this way. I love this state. I love this land. I love the trees. I love nature. I love wildlife. But it's hard to see a hard decision like that made with these agencies. And my question goes to, surely you know there was trailers, cabins, properties up on that back burn. Our prayers were answered. We watched the winds. We watched everything stay on that west side of that mountain. Pinyon Canyon's a sharp cliff. The topography was working with us. Everything was working well with us. I understand the weather. You had winds coming. And so there's collateral damage. Eureka, we're only 20. We're only 20 up there in those hills. And it was just recreation property. Devastating. So I think I just want to represent and know that there are people, Pinyon Canyon Properties, amazing good folk. They lost structures. They lost homes. They lost trailers. They lost a lot up there. That's okay. That's just hard. That could be repaired. So I don't know if those people can be acknowledged somehow for their losses because they're devastated as well. Pinyon Canyon Properties.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we feel horrible about it, but I just want to, and our hearts go out to you. I totally, it's like, you know, what do you say kind of thing, you know, when something bad happens like that to somebody. But what I do want to explain to you, just so you understand what happened last night, was that fire pushed on its own, right? The wind came up, the fire pushed through Pinyon Canyon there and up. So that was the main fire that got your property and your belongings and everything there. Our back burn, it never made it up to your properties. So that's what I'm saying. The main push was not from our firing operation.
The fire went up all of those. So on the east side, it was the back burn and the topography. I get it.
Okay.
I don't want to say poor us because it was just recreation. I just want to know that those people haven't been represented at the Pinion Canyon properties, and there's people out there who did lose a lot on that east burn. They lost a lot.
Right.
Of no lives, thank God. But they haven't been mentioned yet, so I wanted to just represent that whole east side. We did watch the back burn, and we watched the topography go uphill, and it torched all of those people's properties up there. And so, but I understand the point with the wind coming. It's torched already. There's no longer fuel up there to come back down and work its way south. So I understand the strategy. I just wanted to just a shout out to my neighbors up there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everyone.
Right. No, and as are we and the entire team. I think I speak to the entire team, the entire community, and everybody. It's horrible, and it's just one of the things that happen when you live in wildfire-prone areas. So.
Is there any buddy that's going to be up there in place in case, because we have a lot of children and dogs up there, in case there's any potential dangerous wildlife that's coming close to town or injured wildlife coming close to town?
Yeah, so as for that, for reentry tomorrow, it'll be fully staffed with law enforcement as we've done throughout the process. We still intend to have the same crews up there, things like that. So yeah, if you have concerns, let's get them addressed. We'll have people there for you. So.
Could I ask these guys from Juab County, I live here all my life, I know these back roads, would it be possible we could go up through Silver Divide and over instead of going clear to Nephi? It's just a little back dirt road, but
I can't speak. You called on Juab County, so I'll talk to it. The Silver Divide is a road that's half Juab County, half Utah County. If the closure, the worst part is that the closure is below where you would get onto that road. If the closure was up further to where you would go up to the Bergen mine, I don't know if that's a possibility, then you could access it that way. But the closure's down below at the 68 junction.
Thank you.
Can they move the closure up so they can access that road? Only the people that know it would try it.
So maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but the concern they had there for moving that closure from 6 and what is it, 64 or 68, is semi trucks, large vehicles like that. There's not a good spot to get them turned around once we get them up there. So that's kind of why that closure is down there off the hill. So we can just manage that area and not get vehicles up there that we can't get back out.
mine, we can go right to the mine from where we're at.
The people that are going to the mine are still coming in from the south. They still have to go all the way around that. It is a hard closure there on the north.
What day do you expect or have in a timeline that may be reopened?
Yeah, so again, I'll go back to the weather forecast, those 2 red flag day warnings of Friday and Saturday. We're going to reassess in 48 hours and anticipate, I'll give the rough estimate that hard closure will pull down in 72 hours, and it may be a bit sooner, but yeah, we've got some work to do along the corridor to continue to secure the edge and mop up, as we call it, along that edge to minimize any spotting potential, any fire potential along the edge. So we like to work in, 100 feet off the edge and just make sure there's minimal chance of anything popping back up. And so that's going to take our crews at least a 48-hour type window to make sure we get that done.
We're wondering about the mail service. Do they have to go all the way around now, or will we not have it until the hard closure is taken away?
The only thing I can say about that is we are willing to work with the U.S. Mail, and we can put our heads together and figure out as much as we can. But you have to understand, we are analyzing risk, and these are tough decisions too. We're talking about whether to get you into your homes. We know you want to get into your homes, and we're trying our very best to make these concessions, evaluate the risk, take the advice of the professionals doing this, and where can we meet in the middle somewhere? I've been in the rooms with all these people, and I hear the pleas saying, people, we want to come home, we want to come home, and we're doing our absolute best to get you home. That does mean making some concessions sometimes, and these are just some of those things. But as far as the mail specifically, we are willing to work with the mail. Just know we're willing to put our heads together to do the best we can.
Thank you.
I can answer that question for you about the mail. It will continue to be in Alberta until the truck is able to pick up and drop off. So maybe if you guys know somebody, there would be a way that we could work out arranging to pick some of your packages up. But until there's a clear pathway for the truck to get through, I don't think that mail will be able to be dropped off in Eureka and have them turn around. It's too long of a route. I just don't see that happening.
What is the chance of the fire moving to Alberta?
Well, I definitely won't say there's not a chance, but I think it's low probability. And that's because, again, of the work done on the east side, working all the way from, again, let me step up here, sorry. The burnout operation started up there and again comes down the Alberta Slant Road where we tie back in basically at Highway 6 and back into what we call good hard or cold black, where we feel that there's no opportunity for the fire to rekindle or move. So that's that anchor point that we tie that into and secure it. So again, we're going to get tested. This fire will be tested Friday and Saturday with those winds. And if everything holds, and I think we have a good chance of holding everything, then we know that we're sitting really good. A lot of good work's been done, and we're meeting our objectives and maintaining or increasing that containment.
Thank you. Any final questions? All right. With that, we'll end our meeting a little early. I would like it to be you guys to be aware that we will be continuing the flow of information into your communities. Please look for public information officers as we are in your communities and establishing trap lines in those locations. If you have any additional questions that remain unanswered, please find one of us in a collared shirt or in a yellow shirt, and we'd be happy to answer anything you have. Thank you. Have a good night.